This year, no gifts, just family time, my dad said. The next morning, they got a delivery that made their smiles vanish. This year, no gifts, just family time, my dad said over the phone in early December. We've all been too focused on material things lately. Let's just enjoy each other's company this Christmas. I nodded, even though I knew how that usually went. My parents have been preaching fairness my whole life, yet somehow, it's always my brother, Daniel, who ends up with the rewards. Still, I agreed. My wife and I had just enough saved for a modest Christmas dinner, and our 7-year-old son, Noah, was excited to spend the holidays with his grandparents. He even drew them a card with a little Christmas tree and wrote, "Merry Christmas Grandma and Grandpa. I love you." I didn't want to dampen his spirit. I wanted to believe maybe, just maybe, this year would be different. The gathering. When we arrived on Christmas Eve, the house was full of noise. Daniel and his wife, Melissa, were already there with their kids, Sophie, 14, and Max, 12, both dressed like they stepped out of a catalog. Mom greeted us with a polite smile and said, "You're just in time for dinner." Dad, sitting in his usual recliner, raised his glass. To family. No gifts this year, just memories, right? Everyone laughed and nodded. I joined in, forcing a smile. After dinner, Dad stood up and said, "All right, let's open some cards I made for everyone. Just a small token." He handed each of us a plain white envelope. Inside mine was a photo of us from years ago, when I was about Noah's age. On the back, Dad had written, "Proud of you, son. Keep being you." It was simple. Thoughtful, even. I smiled faintly. Then I noticed Daniel's kids had something else, small, wrapped boxes on their laps. That no gifts rule. I tried not to stare, but it was impossible to ignore. Sophie peeled open shiny paper to reveal a brand new iPhone. Max followed, unwrapping wireless headphones. "Whoa, Grandpa. Grandma. Thank you," they squealed. Then Daniel's wife held up an envelope. "Tickets," she said, wide-eyed. Dad laughed. "Just a little family trip to Europe for your crew this summer. You all deserve it. You've been working so hard." My stomach twisted. Mom turned to me and said softly, "Don't take it the wrong way. You understand." "Understand what?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "That your brother has kids in high school," she said. "They're at that age where gifts matter. You have your own family time, that's what matters most." I looked down at Noah, who was clutching his handmade card, watching his cousins jump and squeal. His smile was gone. Without another word, I took his hand and said, "Let's go, buddy." Mom blinked. "You're leaving. Dinner's not over." "It is for us." We walked out without saying goodbye. The delivery. That night, Noah asked, "Dad, did I do something wrong? Why didn't Grandma and Grandpa like my card?" I swallowed hard. "No, buddy. You did everything right." He nodded quietly and went to bed clutching his stuffed bear. I stayed up, staring at the ceiling, thinking about every understanding moment over the years. When Daniel got my college fund because his grades were better. When he crashed my old car, and my parents replaced his before I could even pay off mine. When I lent them $5,000 for home repairs, and Daniel somehow got a "thank you" gift card from them afterward. I'd let it go every time. Not anymore. The next morning, I made a call. By noon, a delivery truck pulled up in front of my parents' house. I didn't go there myself, I didn't need to. When Mom opened the door, the driver handed her a clipboard and motioned toward the boxes. She blinked, confused. "Delivery from, my name. Sign here, please." Inside were all the framed family photos I'd ever taken at their house, neatly packed. The personalized mugs I'd made them over the years. The gifts I'd bought, the tools I'd lent my dad, the heirloom vase they'd promised to pass down. On top of the last box was a note. The note. You said no gifts, just family. I've realized I've been the only one who actually took that to heart. I hope these things remind you that family isn't about who gets the most, it's about who shows up. Noah and I won't be coming by for a while. Maybe someday, we can share time again, not as the forgotten ones, but as equals. Asterisk. Aftermath. By evening, my phone was full of missed calls. Daniel texted first. What the hell was that? Mom's crying. Then Dad wrote. That was childish, son. You don't return gifts like that. And finally, Mom. You didn't have to make a scene. You know how things are. I didn't reply. Instead, I sat with Noah and my wife on the couch. We watched a movie, ate leftover cookies, and laughed until he fell asleep. It was quiet, simple, and real. No expensive gifts. No forced smiles. Just family, the kind that chooses you back. And for the first time in years, I finally understood what that really means. They said I overreacted, until they saw what I did next. The morning after the delivery, I woke up to 37 unread messages. Half were from Mom. The other half were from Daniel. Mom, we didn't mean to hurt you. You misunderstood. Daniel, you made Mom cry on Christmas. Seriously? Over a few presents? Dad, we need to talk. You can't just cut family out over something so trivial. Trivial. That word stayed in my head like an echo. It wasn't about presents, it was about a lifetime of being less than. I could still see Noah's face from the night before, that quiet, confused sadness when he realized he didn't matter to them. I wasn't going to let him grow up thinking that was normal. The call I didn't expect. 2 days later, my mom called again. Against my better judgment, I answered. Her voice was soft, almost rehearsed. Sweetheart, we've been thinking. Maybe we went a bit too far. But you have to understand, Daniel's family has needs. I sighed. And mine doesn't. You're fine, she said quickly. You and Emily have good jobs. You don't need as much help. That word again, need. They always used it to justify favoritism. Mom, I said slowly, it's not about money. It's about how you treat us like background characters in your perfect family picture. She went quiet. Then. If you're going to be dramatic about it, maybe we should take a little space. I almost laughed. Already way ahead of you. I hung up. The social media show. A week later, my wife showed me something on Facebook. Mom had posted a family picture, everyone except us. The caption read. Family Christmas 2025. So blessed for our amazing son and grandkids who always bring joy and light. The comments were full of compliments. Beautiful family. You must be so proud of your boys. I didn't even feel angry anymore. Just empty. Then Daniel commented. We missed you this year, bro. Hope you get over yourself soon. That was the moment I decided I was done being silent. My post. I took a picture of Noah's Christmas card, the one he made for my parents, and uploaded it with a short message. My son made this for his grandparents. He never got a thank you, because they were too busy giving his cousins iPhones and plane tickets, after declaring no gifts this year. I'm not angry. Just done pretending this is love. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can give your child is distance. I didn't tag anyone. I didn't need to. It spread fast. People we knew, family friends, old neighbors, started commenting. I always wondered why they treated you differently. You're doing the right thing. Protect your boy. By the end of the day, Daniel had deleted his comment. Mom texted me again. How could you embarrass us like that? I replied, you did that yourselves. The visit. 2 weeks later, Dad showed up at my door unannounced. He looked older, maybe from guilt, maybe from pride. He didn't ask to come in. He just stood there, holding something wrapped in tissue paper. Your mother wanted to give this to Noah, he said quietly. It was a small toy train, second-hand, probably from the attic. She thought it might mean something. I stared at it. Dad, do you even hear yourselves? You think a toy fixes this? He looked at me, then at Noah playing behind me. You've always been sensitive, he said finally. We did our best. I felt something snap inside me. No, Dad. You did your best with Daniel. With me, you just did what was convenient. He opened his mouth to speak, but I closed the door before he could. Rebuilding. The next few months were quiet. No calls. No texts. No fake apologies. At first, it felt strange, empty holidays, no big family dinners. But then it became peaceful. No judgment. No comparison. No guilt. Just us. I started volunteering with Noah at a local community center. We helped families who couldn't afford gifts, and I realized something important: I didn't miss my family. I missed the idea of what I thought they could be. The letter. In March, a handwritten letter arrived. It was from Mom. I've been thinking a lot about what you said. You're right, we've been unfair. I guess it's hard for a parent to see how their actions play favorites. We're sorry. Daniel doesn't think we did anything wrong, but I do. I just hope one day you'll visit again. We miss Noah's laugh. Asterisk. For a long time, I didn't know how to feel. It wasn't perfect, but it was something. I wrote back. I appreciate your honesty. Maybe one day we'll visit, but only if things change. Noah deserves grandparents who love him without conditions. Epilogue. This summer, instead of joining my parents or brother, we took our own trip, just the three of us. A small cabin near the lake, no phones, no expectations. One night, as we watched the sunset, Noah said, "Dad, this is my favorite Christmas ever." I smiled. You mean vacation, buddy? He grinned. No, this feels like Christmas. Just us. That's all I wanted. And that's when I realized, the best gift I could ever give him wasn't under a tree. It was showing him what love is supposed to look like. They invited us to a family reunion, but I finally saw the truth they couldn't hide anymore. It had been almost a year since that Christmas. Life had finally felt calm. No guilt trips, no manipulation, no, you misunderstood. Just me, Emily, and Noah, living quietly, peacefully. Then in late November, an envelope arrived. No return address, but I recognized my mom's handwriting instantly. Inside was a card that read, "Family reunion, December 24th, at the house. Everyone will be there. Please come. Let's start over." I must have read that line a dozen times. Emily looked at me carefully. "Are you thinking of going?" I didn't answer right away. Part of me didn't want to open that wound again. But another part, the one that still believed people could change, wanted closure. I told her, "We'll go. Just to see if anything's really different." The return. When we pulled into my parents' driveway, the house looked the same: festive lights, fake snowflakes on the windows, a giant wreath on the door. Mom rushed out first. Her eyes were watery as she hugged me. "You came," she whispered. "I wasn't sure you would." Dad followed, smiling stiffly. "Good to see you, son." Even Daniel walked over, though his tone was forced. "Hey, man. Been a while." Inside, the house was decorated beautifully. There was a long table set for dinner, and for once, it looked like everyone was included, name cards and all. Noah ran to the tree, admiring the ornaments. Mom smiled. This year, we really mean it, no gifts, no favoritism. Just family. I wanted to believe her. The dinner. Dinner started well enough. Small talk, laughter, a few awkward pauses. Mom kept refilling everyone's plates, and Dad even cracked a few jokes that didn't sting for once. For a brief moment, I thought maybe, just maybe, we were finally healing. Then after dessert, Dad cleared his throat. Before we wrap up, I have a little something to share, he said. A surprise. Mom handed him a small stack of envelopes. My stomach tightened. He gave the first one to Daniel and his wife. We know you've been wanting to move somewhere bigger, Dad said. So we decided to help out with the down payment. Everyone clapped. Then another envelope, to Sophie and Max. A little something for college, Mom said. More applause. More smiles. And then, silence. No more envelopes. None for me. None for Noah. The familiar pain. I sat there frozen, just like every other year before. Daniel tried to play it off. Hey, man, don't look at me. I told them not to. But Mom cut him off. We're treating everyone fairly. You've always been independent, sweetheart. You don't need the help. There it was. The same line. The same excuse. Emily reached under the table and squeezed my hand. Her grip said everything. I stood up slowly. You invited us here to prove you changed. But nothing did it? Dad frowned. That's not fair. I laughed softly. No, what's not fair is watching my son believe that love has to be earned while his cousins get it handed to them. Mom looked like she wanted to speak, but I wasn't finished. You could have just been honest, I said. You don't see me as part of this family, you see me as the one who doesn't need you. But you're wrong. I didn't need you, I just wanted you to treat me like a son. The final goodbye. I turned to Noah. Come on, buddy. Let's go. Mom reached out. Please, don't make a scene. I shook my head. No scene. Just closure. Before I walked out, I looked around the room, the house filled with laughter that had never included me. Then I said. I used to think I was the problem, too sensitive, too distant, too different. But all I ever wanted was fairness. So I'll give you the same thing you gave me, nothing. And I left. The silence after. That night, I expected the same flood of texts and calls. None came. For the first time in my life, they didn't try to guilt me. They just went silent. Emily and I spent Christmas morning baking cookies with Noah. No drama. No pretending. Just laughter and peace. 2 weeks later. A letter came again, this time from Dad. It was short. Maybe you're right. Maybe we did choose wrong. I don't know how to fix it anymore. But I hope one day, you'll remember the good times too. Take care of that boy, he's lucky to have you. For the first time, I didn't feel angry reading it. I just felt sad, not for me, but for him. Because I finally realized something. You can't make people love you the way you deserve. You can only stop letting them make you feel unworthy of it. 1 year later. This Christmas, we didn't go to my parents' house. Instead, we hosted a dinner for friends, people who actually showed up for us through the hard times. When Noah handed me a small wrapped box, he said, "Dad, I know we said no gifts, but I wanted to give you something anyway." Inside was a photo, me, him, and Emily, framed with the words, "Our real family." I smiled and said, "This is the best gift I've ever gotten." And I meant it. Because for the first time, I didn't walk away from my family. I just stopped chasing the wrong one. Years passed. I built a quiet, happy life with Emily and Noah, no drama, no guilt, no pretending. Then one evening, Daniel called. "Dad's in the hospital. It's bad. Mom wants to see you." For a long moment, I just stared at the phone. After everything, now they needed me. Still, I went. When I entered the hospital room, Dad looked smaller than I remembered, pale, weak, tired. Mom sat beside him, eyes red. He opened his eyes and whispered. "Didn't think you'd come." "I almost didn't," I said. He smiled faintly. "I wasn't fair to you, son. I see it now. I thought I was helping the one who needed more, but I hurt the one who asked for less. It wasn't much, but it was the truth." And for the first time, I didn't feel anger, just peace. He passed away that night. After the funeral, Daniel asked me to help Mom. I didn't do it for him, or for her, really. I did it because I refused to become bitter like them. I helped her move to a small apartment. She looked fragile, but calm. "You were always the stronger one," she said. I just didn't see it then. I nodded. "Goodbye, Mom." A year later, she was gone too. When we went to clear her things, Noah found a photo of us, me, him, and Emily, on her nightstand. On the back, she had written, "You were always my gift." Noah looked at me and said softly, "She finally understood, huh?" I smiled. Maybe. But I stopped needing her to. We left the house together, hand in hand. The past didn't hurt anymore, it just reminded me how far I'd come. And for the first time in my life, I truly felt free.